This content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Man, so what's going on this week? We got a few,
We
few
got Atlantic, um,
Sean
which
Ray
I can pull up
Ryan.
the. Oh, there is Physique there. That's right. That lineup's not very big though. But I mean, shoot, I think Ryan Clark. I thought he looked great at the Olympia, so I mean, I think that's kind of his show to lose for now.
Yeah, that's pretty much his. I mean, all respect to all the other competitors, but that's pretty
I
much
agree.
at that show. There's a guy there that looks pretty good, Stephen Damasco.
What up? What up?
What's going
Honestly, I
on,
haven't
man?
seen him. Is he rookie or
Is he what now?
like rookie or like first couple shows or
I think he's
has he
done a
been around a
couple.
little bit?
He's done a couple already.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
All right, y'all discussing the Hawaii Pro?
yeah.
We're talking about just the shows in general. So there's Hawaii and then there's Atlantic. And then there is China Pro
Yeah,
on
China.
November
I don't
18th,
know.
like Monday. That's like, what's that on Monday? Or yeah,
Yeah,
it's a Monday.
the China Pro. I don't know like anybody in that, so I really can't even to it. But I'll tell you on the Hawaii Pro though, like David, I thought I sent both of you guys my picks on
Whoa, what do you mean you don't know anyone on the China lineup?
that. Who do I know?
Whoa.
Who do I know?
No, bro. You see, there's a big name on there. You see it?
Hold
Corey
on.
Morris is doing the China Pro.
Shut
He
up.
is?
Hey, his name's on the list, bro.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
It's a bunch of, Asian people, Saudi, Hong Kong, Malaysia, China, Vietnam, and then Corey Morris right in the middle, bro.
But
That's
talking
crazy.
about
I would have never seen that if I didn't look at the show right now. That's crazy.
that is definitely crazy. But so I will tell you, like the Hawaii Pro is interesting to me because there's four cuts guys in the Hawaii Pro.
Well, one's a Masters guy, right? Is there a Masters in the show too, or is it just open?
No, it's just open.
Okay, but one of the guys is Hawaiian, isn't he? What's his name? Chad Owens.
Chad
Doesn't he live in
Owens,
Hawaii?
he's 35 plus. Chad Owens, he's a former college football player and also a former like what do you play, arena football or something? He's like a Hall of Famer
Yeah,
in
yeah. Because
some
he just went pro. This is probably his
he,
debut, no?
this is his debut. He just went pro at North Americas.
Because I remember him like kind of turning pro. He's from Hawaii or something, no?
Yeah, he is from Hawaii. He played at University
Okay,
of Hawaii. So he's
that's
a
dope.
hometown favorite guy, right?
That's dope.
So he's a guy, an aerial guy. Also, Kento Wakami, I believe, is an aerial guy as well.
Okay.
So
It says he's from Japan. That's not like that far of a flight, really.
yeah, see, he's a cuts guy as well, and he looks pretty solid. Like he's got a nice looking physique, right? So I think that he could definitely be a first call out type of guy in this show. He's got good size and symmetry. But like he's an aerial guy. Chad's an aerial guy. Um, there's one more. I don't remember who it was. Is it Hygort? Oh, yeah. There's one more guy in here who's an aerial guy as well.
Honestly, there's a name that's kind of like not super prevalent, but he does well at every show is Zahid. I
Yeah,
can't
Yeah.
say the last name.
yeah,
That's
Saka? Sahak?
yeah.
So he
Zahid looks
turned pro
good.
and
He
what's
looks
up?
pretty good.
Yeah,
Zahid
like he's
looks pretty good.
shredded.
Yeah. So
Because
yeah,
honestly, bro, he's done three shows at the pro level and he's gotten second, third.
yeah, I mean
yeah. He split the box with Ben Quill at Daytona Pro.
this is who I got. I had this guy coming in second, to be honest with you.
Honestly,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
looking at him, bro, I think he could beat Ryan because I mean they're about the same height. They're definitely like class A type heights.
like I said, I
And
mean
but
he split the box at Daytona with Ben Quill.
and Bedlam's really good at that show too. I remember him. I actually like I wasn't familiar with the name when I was looking through the roster. But he's
Yeah.
solid, bro.
And then also the other guy that's a cuts guy, I believe, is Hygor. So
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you though that another guy that I think so that Hygor guy, Nick, I want to say that he's a cuts guy as well. Uh, he is Hygor Ponchette.
Yeah, I don't think I'm following this guy yet.
Yeah.
Well, he's
But maybe,
Brazilian, so that's always
maybe he's not a cuts guy, but I looked at his physique. He looked pretty good. His profile is private though. But yeah, he looked pretty solid. It wasn't a big lineup. And then I'm gonna tell you guys who I think they could actually do well in this show, David. We talk about him all the time. He's got size. He just hasn't ever put it together. Is Dylan Lynn.
I like Dylan Straight. Honestly, it's just his is the genetics with the core, but he's very bubbly, bro. Like he has a very like dense frame,
He
like
just
big
doesn't have
chest, really
he
good
doesn't
back.
have a great core. His core is
Yeah,
just not genetically
no,
great.
because like if you look, like he's peeled there, like he's in shape. It's just doesn't have dugout abs.
Yeah, exactly. And
But he took a lot of time off, and I think he works with Will Sage, and so like his guys are always peeled.
and also Omar Ventura does his posing.
Mhm.
So I think that he definitely is going to bring a good package. Like, look at his arms. Look, that shows you right there in that shot of his arms how peeled the guy really is.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
go
he's
back.
definitely in shape.
Yeah. Next
You can
one,
see on the back
right
post though too.
there.
Like,
Look at the tricep. Look at the
yeah,
tricep. That's an anatomy chart tricep. Like literally, the guy's in shape. He has quads. It's just his abs suck, and that's just genetics.
And
I think that like no, go ahead, Nick.
he's got that classic like one pack. Goes on like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
But if you
Uh,
know guys, like it's crazy, but there's a lot of Asian guys who only get like four abs.
yeah.
Like Jeremy
yeah,
Coffman, like you get a lot of guys like that. Even Nick Cal doesn't have the greatest abs.
yeah. He definitely has a four peg too. But
Yeah.
I mean, he took a lot of time off. I think this was his last show in
Yeah, that was his
July of
last.
last year. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's over a year off. Like he, a lot of times that just helps you kind of put it together and bring it.
So I think for this lineup, this is a good lineup for Dylan. Because he has a really strong back. Like his back is pretty solid, good shoulders. It's just his core isn't there, is what has hurt him over his because he turned pro in 2020 at Universe in South Carolina.
Um,
So I think that, so did you guys already talk about, I mean, because that's a small show, right? Atlantic Coast is the big show of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we hadn't gone on to that one yet.
Okay. Looks like Jack's having some difficulties getting in, huh?
Yeah.
Man, my bad.
Oh,
Oh, you
yeah.
are you there?
Yeah, I can't get this
On camera.
video on for some reason. I'm still trying to work on it. My bad, guys.
It's all
All right,
good.
you're good. You're good. All right. So do we want to just jump straight to the Atlantic Coast lineup? Like, let's look at the lineup and then we can each speak on our five in the lineup. I mean, I know a lot of us are pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. Let me pull that up here real quick.
Big lineup. Big lineup.
There's like 33 guys in this lineup.
Yeah.
This has Masters in it too, right?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see some master guys. I'm in, by the way, guys. We made it.
Oh, there you are.
But
What's up?
Uh,
so I think one thing, especially with these shows, that's going to be interesting is since there are, and this is pretty much every Tim Gardner show, is whenever there's Masters, like these guys don't go on until super late. So I mean, I think for a lot of these guys, like if they peak kind of early in the morning, it's going to kind of hurt them a little bit compared to some guys that can kind of hold their shape for longer. If that makes sense, because I don't think these guys will go on stage till like probably 2 p.m.,
Look,
2,
as
3
we talk
p.m.
about Masters, guys, real quick, before we even like jump into the lineup, let me get your
Yeah.
opinion on this, right? Do you think that Masters guys get legit looks in the open class?
Nope.
Well, so one thing they did this year, man, is usually like with pro shows they would do open and then they do masters. And then this year they kind of ran it like NPC style where they did masters and then pros. And I think a lot of like the two shows I did, it 100% gave them like an extra look, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
know in the past, I didn't feel like Masters guys got to look purely
Yeah.
at an open show. Like, right, you're a Masters guy, they kind of knocked you for it on the open class.
Mhm.
In the past, I don't know about this year as much, but I know that a lot of times those Masters guys weren't getting the same look that the open guy would get.
Well, like in my experience, like my two shows I did this year, so like in San Antonio and in Florida, like there were because it's the last two shows that qualified for this Olympia, right? So they were huge. It was like 30 guys plus. So like all the Masters guys were in front of the open guys. Like at Florida Pro, every single guy that was like second call out, like they kind of went numeric order, but it was Masters guys first, and then it was like all the open guys at the end.
Okay.
Hmm.
So Nick, I know
Let's
we
be,
mentioned
I
golf
feel like,
earlier.
let's be honest, the Masters guys, I feel like this might be the best Masters guys that are out there right now. I feel like
No,
it's
I
like
mean
the
there's
guys that were always like the fringe guys, but they have tons of muscle maturity. Like they're all bangers. Like
no,
I
I
feel
mean
like we're kind of maybe at that golden era for Masters where it's even hard to get a pro card at the Masters level because there's so much muscle, there's so much talent there.
no, I mean I agree. Like I think that the Masters level is a lot more competitive than it used to be, right? Like David and I talk about this is that there's a possibility that maybe they get rid of 35 and over, right? And they just go 40 and over is considered Masters because of the fact that I mean 35 is like you say, Jack, maybe the golden era. Because if you look at the guys in Olympia, um, that 35, 34, anywhere from 35 to 38 is a lot of the guys in the top 10 on a lot of times. Maybe this year it's a little bit different because we had a lot of guys not compete who have normally competed. But I mean, you had guys like Lucky Libra who was in there at that age, like Banks just turned 35. I mean, you got a lot of guys who, Brandon's up there around that age. Like a lot of those guys are in their mid 30s who are at the top of the game because they've been in it for a while. Ryan Terry's at that age, guys like that. So I do think that the Masters era is definitely tough right now. But I really haven't seen a lot of Masters guys excel in the open class besides Sharif.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, man. I have my own thoughts about Masters, and I think that they make it a better look what David was saying if they go on before the actual Open guys, because they're still kind of roaming around in the minds of the judges when they see them again come out with the Open. But me personally, I don't. I try not to compete in Masters classes just because I've always kind of felt like there's this perception that Open guys aren't as competitive. I mean, Masters guys aren't as competitive as Open guys. Um, so I tend to try and
I
stay
think
away.
we should I think we should debunk that. I think that thought process should be debunked because there's some heavy hitters in Masters. Who's that tall guy from Cuts that like literally has like five.
Yeah, but he doesn't win an Open, bro. You talking
That's
about
true though.
Dewan. Dewan doesn't do
Yeah,
well.
Dewan.
He's never won an Open show.
Never
You
does.
know, I mean, like Dewan wins a lot in Masters. He competes a lot in Masters. I mean, just like Alex, right? What's Alex's last name, David?
The old guy, well, like
Yeah,
50, Woodson.
yeah, Alex Woodson. He wins a tons of Masters shows, but he doesn't win Open shows. Like these
I
Masters.
think I think the caliber of competitors definitely improving just because also Physique's been around for longer. So some of these guys have been in the game for a long time and they're just getting older. Like if you look at guys like Aria, Alex Woodson's been around for a minute. So like a lot of
Yeah.
those guys where it's like even if they do kind of fall off over time, age catches up with them, they still have masters where they can still compete, still be competitive, still make money, kind of be in the mix. And I think the reintroduction and putting the Masters Olympia back on is making it way more competitive because all these guys are like, all right, hell yeah, like I can still compete and make some money, get some clout, whatever, build my business, whatever they're trying to do with competing. But they're not just aged out almost. Like they still have kind of a platform to still compete at a really high level.
Do you guys see like what's the biggest difference between like the Masters and the Open guys? I feel like for me, the biggest difference is just the sheer size. Like I don't want to say muscle maturity, it's just like everybody that's in Open, their lats are like tenfold bigger. Like I feel like the sheer size of the muscle, I feel like that's the biggest difference. When it comes down to it, everybody's conditioned, but I feel like that's the biggest difference between Masters and Open. What do you guys think?
I don't know
Yeah,
that
I
I agree
mean,
with
yeah,
size.
like maybe I think like maybe for older guys who are masters, they may have started bodybuilding a little bit later in life, so they haven't had the time to build those slabs of muscles like some of the open guys have, right? Maybe, I mean, I know that older guys, right? Metabolically, they're going to be a bit more grainy, a bit more hard. It's where that mature muscle kind of sets in for some of the older guys, the Masters guys. Um, that's really the difference I see in them. But yeah,
For me, I honestly see, right? Because obviously I compete in masters, but then I also follow open and masters to the T. Honestly, I see conditioning as the biggest difference, right? The
yeah,
younger guys' conditioning is a lot better than some of the
Mm.
masters guys. So if you look at the Masters Olympia, you look at master shows, the conditioning is not the same, right? Because for one, older guys' skin elasticity isn't the same, right? So it doesn't, the muscle doesn't push against the skin the same way. So you don't have that same pop. And I just think that the conditioning is harder to get to at the older you get, right? Like I know that we talk about this a lot in the gym. If you're competing in 40 and above and you come in peeled, you got a good shot to win. Because at the end of the day, conditioning kills in masters level.
but what do
So
y'all think about so for the Atlantic?
all right, let's pull that list back up and let's go through some top fives in the Atlantic Pro. Hey, is there any way we could do this? Look, because this is the one thing that I think makes it cool and would change the game between some of the other platforms. Like this is our first show that we're gonna do together. We're gonna take a top five. Like let's keep stats of where guys like, okay, David's in the lead. He had three guys right this week, because it's always, I think that it's the competitiveness in me maybe too, because I want to be right and y'all wrong.
Yeah, yeah, I'm down shoot. Um, I'll give my top five in order, 1 through 5.
All
Oh,
right.
we're going in order too?
If
Oh
you want,
man.
I mean, shit, I'm not scared. I'll do it. Um,
Oh, all right. I got a lot.
I wouldn't put them in any particular order just because like there's so many things that go into it. Like if fucking George Brown gets a burger and gets sick, like and his pete's messed up, like and he gets third instead of first. I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the call,
Let's stick
especially for
let's
this
stick
show,
to
man.
top.
This show has like 35 guys. Like even
All right.
getting the top eight.
Yeah.
What are we going with? Six or are we going with eight?
I mean, honestly, depends on the show. So like.
All right. With this show, what are we going
Some
with?
shows
Eight?
are six, some shows are eight. I think in this group,
shit,
it's
I'm down.
Jack Sullivan. I would say there's going to be six.
All right. So we're gonna pick top six.
Oh shit, I only got 5.
You got to add another one, Nick. There ain't no such thing as a five-man call out no
All
more. We're
right.
never putting nobody in the center.
All right, here's my thing though with it too, just like off the rip, looking at the comments, like you see Mike from Unchained Physiques commenting, "Let's go," tagging all his guys. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, he's not having anyone that's gonna be better than GB at this show.
No,
No, I mean,
That's straight up. Like he's not
Wally.
gonna let anyone let GB get
No, but also you
displaced.
got to look. A lot of those guys that he has on there, like Wadi, Jabbar, Tobias, those are Masters guys as well, right?
Right.
But this is only Masters 40 plus, and like Wadi's not 45 or not 40.
Well, I know Jabbar Tobias is 40 plus because he got his pro card at 40 in 2020.
Wadi might be 40.
He's
Wadi.
not because he's every show he's like been able to like compete at with me this year. Like he did San Antonio and Florida with me, and there's 40 plus, and I think he's like 37 or 38 or something. He's not 40,
Oh,
or he
okay.
just doesn't do masters. But I've seen him do 35 at another show. I can't recall which one.
All right, so Nick, what's your six? Give us your six, bro.
shit. I got Marcel Treckler in there. Of course, I got George Brown, Sharif Reed, Javion Seymour, and Emil Walker. Now for the sixth guy, oh man, dang, man. Who could I pick? Who could I pick? Man, hell, I don't know. Maybe, man, I shit. I'm gonna just throw one in there. Leon McCall.
All right, Liam McCall, that's the Unchained Physique guy, so
Yeah.
no, he may. Um, I'll go next. So I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go Emil Walker. I'm gonna go George Brown. I'm gonna go Gochez. I'm gonna go Victor Martinez, ex Olympian. I mean Victor Ramirez, sorry, ex Olympian. I'm gonna go Sharif Reed, and then I am going to go with George. What's George's last name? Where is he? George Torres. All right, so George Torres, I'm going George Torres over um, Javion only because so George was in the second call out last year. No, he was in the first call out at Daytona when there was 35 guys as well. So I think that he actually has a shot to uh, to do pretty well. Yeah, that guy right there. So at Daytona, that middle package, that package at Daytona, he landed in the first call out, and Daytona was a pretty stacked show. So I definitely think that if he could bring all of that conditioning, that he could end up in that first call out as well in this show. And the only reason why I'm taking him over Javion, I think that Javion is still going to get knocked to being way too big. So we all know Javion's arms are tremendously huge. I haven't seen a real update from Javion in a long time though. Besides him lifting seven
I was
thousand
about to
pounds.
say, I know he's strong as hell. That's about all
All
I
I ever
know.
700
see all
million
I ever
pounds.
all I ever see Javion do is lift like deadlift 7,000 pounds.
And he's young though too, I think, because I'm pretty sure.
He is.
Um,
He turned pro at like 21 under.
it says he's 26. He's 26. So
Yeah,
I guess he's not like too young, but shoot, he's younger than me.
yeah. He's still pretty young though. I mean, like I said, he turned pro at like 22 or something under Omar, and I think at
This
that
was two
time,
years ago, right?
Yeah.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez.
And the thing is, like I said, I mean, he when he turned pro, he was natural. So
Man, shit, I don't know. That's ridiculous.
it
Uh,
is. I mean, it really is.
I mean, because George, when I look at George, man, just to be honest, he looks really shallow to the chest. Because who's judging the show?
Jack Sullivan.
Jack Sullivan.
I was about to say, because if it's Tyler, that's all Tyler ever looks at. He needs more through the upper chest. So yeah, I mean, he looks kind of shallow through the
I
chest.
think it's the posing too because he opens up so much in that pose. Because when you see him in his transition before that, his chest looks pretty thick. But it all depends. I mean, like I said, I don't know who judged Daytona. I don't know if Becky judged Daytona. I'm not sure. I don't remember who the judge was at Daytona.
I honestly can't remember.
So we'll see. But also the thing is that Javion hasn't been on stage in over 2 years. So I'm interested to see what he does as well.
Yeah, sure.
But
Mm.
that's my top six. I just threw George in there as a dark horse. So we'll see. What you got, Dave?
I have something pretty similar. I got Sharif, won an open show. I think it's honestly, I got my top two being over 40-year-old guys. So I got Sharif and George 1-2.
You hold on. You got Sharif over Emil Walker coming off the
If
dub.
you, I think if Sharif comes in on, I think he's got a better back. Yeah.
All right, I mean,
GB just gets the respects, the GB kind of thing. So he's always in the mix. Um, yeah, I got them in my top three. I got Sharif, George, and Emil Walker. I also have Jorge Torres, but it's just I don't know. I think Casey Wild could be a wild card in there. The dude is massive, so he's a class like H guy or whatever, and he's like 280. Like he's huge. So he could be interesting, but I know he's kind of streamlined his look a lot, and I think he did another show, so he could be in the mix. But and then rounding it out, I got Javion, and then I got former Olympian Victor Ramirez. I think if Victor comes in 100% on, I think he could win the show easily as well. That's the only problem with this lineup is
there's
some of
no
the guys bring it.
consistency.
Yeah, the only one who comes to the field all the time is Emil, but sometimes he comes in like too shallow. Um, so if
Well, I
someone
mean,
kind of can out bubbly him,
we also know that George always comes in peeled. Like
yeah,
George never comes in
Mhm.
out of shape. George's biggest problem is how is he going to pose his back?
Yeah, 100%. And it's improved though.
It is.
Because Emil's back is in lights out. He's kind of I don't want to say thin, but he's not super bubbly either. Um, but yeah, I think there's a lot of guys in this lineup, but I don't think there's anyone that's hands down a favorite or running away with it.
Yeah.
All right.
But look up Casey Wild in there too. He's a big boy. He's a very big boy.
Casey Wild. How do you spell his name?
Wild, like out in the wild. Yeah, that's him right there.
Oh, he looks
Oh
huge.
man, that's a
Yeah,
big
He's a big
boy.
boy,
I
bro.
did see that. I looked
That's
him
a
up,
big boy.
but his conditioning was bad at Hurricane.
So I just got to tell a story though. Like, so he turned pro right after I turned pro, and like we'd have been in the same class. And I remember I was like, thank God. So he was a bodybuilder and he was like trying to do classic. and he couldn't make weight for classics, so he went to Med Physique and he won at North America. I think it was North Americans. North
So North
Americans in
American, yeah, I
2022.
remember that. Yep.
That dude
Um,
is massive.
yeah, I think he's legit like a two, like probably 240-ish on stage.
How tall is he?
He's like 6'3" or something. He's a big boy.
He's a
Damn.
big dude, but if I'm being honest, like, so
I don't think he's too big.
the knock on him, no, like, I don't think he's too big. He flows. He actually has a decent flow. But this is my knock on him. His conditioning isn't very good, and his posing is quite horrendous.
His posing's bad. His posing's bad.
Wow. Okay.
But like if he comes in on, like I think in this lineup he could slide in there.
No, he definitely could. But somebody needs to tell him to take away all those classic like hand up poses, like
Yeah.
make all this, But he has shape. He definitely has shape.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, what you got?
I got Showtime JB. I got Goches. I got Sharif, Emil, and then the two guys that I've actually seen up close, and I guess we all did Pittsburgh together. Is Javion? I saw him up close, so I think he's gonna bang. He has so much muscle, and he's gonna come conditioned. So I think he's gonna get first call out. And then this dude named Ahmed Salah. I competed with him in a regional in Texas. I don't know where he's from. I think he might be from the Middle East, but he comes and like does shows in Texas, like regional shows in Texas.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Did he go pro?
Yeah, he just went pro.
Uh,
Yeah, he just went pro, and I think he won the Olympia amateur.
So this is his
he
debut.
works with the he works with the O2 guys, the oxygen guys.
Yeah, he's
Okay. So
got
this
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 is
is pro
actually
debut.
not a very good picture because he got huge. I don't know why he has any updated pictures because I was watching his stories and he looks massive. Like he's really gained some thickness in his lats.
I mean, that's what happens at Oxford.
I think he might be too. I think he might be too big.
Oh, really?
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. Like Ja Jack's judging is kind of he doesn't really show preference of like one or the other. Like it's kind of what's there that day.
Hey, click on the middle on the
That's a
bottom.
picture.
No, no, no. Go to the bottom middle one, Nick.
This one?
Yeah, let's see that. I mean, the dude looks dope right there.
I
Yeah, I mean,
like it, bro.
it's a
That's
nice
no
shot.
paper fit. That I think that had to be him getting ready for the amateur Olympia. I mean, that's a dope
Bro,
look.
I've seen him 2 years ago, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this is pharmaceutical GH. This is the stuff that you get in Egypt. They just hand it out. It's legal there. It's
And
legal. So that's
he,
the shit I'm trying to get. That's the connect I need.
he looks pretty good though. I mean, so when you competed against him, did you beat him or he beat you?
We weren't in the same class. I think he was a
Okay.
little bit taller than me. I think he might have been in. Am I in the class right underneath you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's in your class.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's 6'1".
Okay.
If you look though on the comments, he's not with O2 anymore. He's with George Farah, and that is Ali Bilal's
Ali Bilal's
coach.
coach.
Oh,
Hey,
So he probably
so
made that switcheroo pretty recently because George is a bodybuilder coach.
George, his first physique guy was Ali, right?
Pro- Probably that I
I mean,
know of.
first big name, but first that I heard of because he was a bodybuilding coach for a long time. But I mean, that's a good move though. I mean, because we seen what he did to Ali. He changed Ali's physique 100%, and you can see the conditioning in this guy.
bro, this guy has grown so much. It's crazy.
I mean, that's a good dark horse, Jack. That's a good
Yeah,
pick.
That's a good pick, man.
yeah.
Okay.
And I know I had to do my homework with you guys. I had to do some homework because I know what I'm working against.
Yeah, no, this guy looks good, man.
I
Yeah.
mean, he looks good. Um, I'm not about to. I'm not gonna shit on him.
Well, I mean,
I do think that depending on how he does in this show, one thing I do see him getting knocked for is his chest. Honestly, fullness throughout the
Hey,
chest.
look, so I'm gonna tell you, Nick gonna knock everybody on his chest because Tyler knocked him on his chest. So Nick gonna knock everybody on his
He's
chest.
holding on to that. That nigga.
It's true.
Nigga
I know.
petty,
I know what
bro.
to look for. That's where my mind goes. That's where my eyes go immediately. It's just with guys in chess because I do
No,
all my
you are right though. Like that, if there's one thing, it'd probably be that.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's just
I mean,
Is that
everybody
a
can be better,
gyno?
right?
Is that a
Like,
gyno thing or is it muscle thing?
no. What in this picture it looked like he had a little bit of
I think his nipples are just low on his chest.
that's natural nipple right there.
and I think
Oh,
that
okay.
I think if I can say one thing that I've seen is he could get some thickness in his back. His back isn't super thick,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I mean, everybody get better somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that in this lineup, though, he could be. I don't know. It just
Yeah,
depends.
they
All these pictures show him standing by himself, and everybody looks good in the mirror by himself until you stand next to a guy like Sharif, who's 6'3", 240.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying he might get exposed standing next to these guys. Like someone like Javion, Sharif, Emil Walker, they all have really full chests. So it might they might be like, oh, this guy doesn't he doesn't stack up compared to these guys.
Yeah, no, like you take this guy and you put him in the Hawaiian Pro in the Sean Ray Classic,
Yeah,
he might win the whole thing.
there you go. Okay, cool, cool. All right. So was that 1 through 5? I know David didn't want to do it. He's staying political. But
I
Jack,
did mine. I threw mine in there.
I
oh,
did mine. Yeah.
you okay. So yeah, for this one, I honestly, man, I think I got GB taking it for coming in first place.
I pull up George. Let's look at that last update I sent y'all earlier today of George Brown.
George Brown.
I like how George was like doing his retirement tour though, and then like he
And
had
then
a
all of a
banger
sudden
of a
he's back.
season, and he's
And
like,
then, no,
"Yeah, I
the one
got
right
one
there,
more
never
in
get that
me."
one right there.
He's like,
Yeah,
"I'm
I'm
never
doing a
letting this guy
retirement
come no
tour,
more,
but all of
man."
a sudden I'm gonna do Hurricane. I'm gonna do Atlantic Pro. Like, wait a minute, I thought you were retiring after Olympia. So I
Just
mean, George is peeled as always. George has good cap shoulders. He always has a nice midsection. His back is pretty thick. I mean, that's one thing that he does have is just his posing. Like that left side is always so much further extended than his right side. Um, but I think that George has a good chance to win. But if I'm picking my winner, I'm going to Mill. I'm going to Mill Walker. My winner for the day.
Man, this guy right here is the definition of stage presence. That dude he acts like he's going to get first every single time. And that type of confidence is what you need to. I mean, there's a reason why he's an Olympian, you know?
But you know why he won't retire, right? There's
Why?
only one reason why. He wants win number 10. So George is looking for the 10th win because he wants to be one of the few guys. Because I think there's only like 3 guys with 10 wins right now. He has 9, tied with Corey. Right. So I think the only guys with 10 wins is Chiron,
Lucky?
Lucky. I think it's Lucky and Chiron are the only two with 10 wins.
I'm not mad at it. I think in this sport you should submit yourself however you can, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like he looks bad. Like he looks fucking phenomenal at 40. What is George? 44, 45, 6, somewhere up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks phenomenal. Um, I think that, in all honesty, this last year of George Brown might have been the best George Brown we've seen since he won the New York Pro.
I agree with that. Just as long as he's healthy, do it as long as you can, I guess. That's all good.
All
Okay.
right, so who's your win, Nick? Who you going with for the? You said for the dub is who?
I'm going with GB, man, the king.
The GB. All right, you got GB King George. David, who you going with the dub?
Oh, out of the top four, that's tough, man. My top four would be Victor, Emil, George, and Sharif. I'm still gonna give it to Sharif, man.
Sharif. All right, and Jack, who you going with the dub?
Dang, I was gonna go Sharif, but I can't copy Dave. I'll go with Emil.
Emil Walker. All right. All right, we'll see. Come next week, we'll see where it all falls. So that's the predictions for there.
There you go. All right. That was fun. So let's get on like to what are we supposed to how long were we talking? Half an hour. Dang. All right. Let's chat about men's physique, right? So I think the topic for this one was going to be over what are the five things that are needed to construct the ideal men's physique competitor. What are those things you guys think? It could be anything. I mean, literally anything that you think would make the ideal men's physique competitor. Um, who wants to go first?
I'll just tell you number one in my mind, the number one thing that an ideal men's physique competitor needs, and it's what I don't have, posing ability, ability to pose.
Yeah,
I feel like shows are won and lost every single day by posing.
that's on my list for sure.
So that's number one to me. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that's the number one thing, but I would say that's the number one thing that people take for granted the most, right? Because most guys diet really hard to try to come in shape and do all the other things, but they don't practice posing enough. Like, I know myself personally, I've lost 3 pro cards on a back pose.
Yeah, like we just talked about that the white boy who the big dude, the big tall dude. We just
Yeah,
talked.
yeah.
Yeah, wow.
He's got a great setup, everything, but he's coming in with all this and all this crap. Like, no, that's not gonna work. Now you got to learn how to pose for men's physique. It's very integral. And even me, like I've been doing this a while, and I'm still horrible at posing. So that's something that I work on every day, and that's actually something I started to practice in the off season, in the improvement season, posing every day, just to make sure it's like second nature to me. So,
No, I mean, that posing is critical because I'll say this with posing, you can create illusions, right? So David is the number one person I use all the time with this. David posed in 20. When did you change the pose to the two hands? 21 or 20?
21.
All right, so in 21, he did a show where he had one hand on the hip and
mm,
got fucking dead ass second to last, right? At juniors.
Yeah, I got like not in the mix. Can't
Yeah,
remember what I got.
like it was like crazy, right? Because I remember watching the show, and then literally he changed his pose, and he competed 2 weeks later and was in the top five.
yeah,
Literally, and it was the same physique. All he did was he changed the way that the illusion looked by putting his two hands on his hips and making his waist look like it went from a 34 to a
like this.
yeah,
It
it
made
made
his
it look like it
waist
went
look
from a
like that.
34 to a 26. Literally, all because the illusion of his hands on his hips, they made his shoulders look much wider, and it made his waist look so much smaller. So illusions is everything, but you only get that if you can pose.
yeah. I
Mhm.
think a lot of like my mistake was copying dudes, other guys and trying to look like them and doing their poses and realizing that didn't work for my body. Like I realized that doing the two hands on the side looked better for my chest and make it look fuller because when I brought this arm up and put that hand on the hip, the chest disappeared, it flattened out. So trying to do all these like I don't fucking know the what is it, the Ventura step and the King's X and all this stuff. Cut that shit out. Just do what you know it works best for you. Start out simple, plain, and then,
That's the problem though. That's the problem is you don't really know what's best for you. That's why it's so critical to get like a good posing coach that has an eye for like what your strengths are and then pose to your strengths. Like figure out what's the best front pose for you. What's the best transition pose for you? What's the best back pose for you, you know? And then all you got to do is just nail that.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, posing is very, very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I'm gonna go something like a little like I guess for the beginning listener, the guys that are beginners, when it comes to like men's physique guys, what they need. I literally just thought about this while I was doing my meal prep. Is three P's. You need to have perseverance because in this game you're gonna have a lot of failures. I think we talked about it last episode. David was shining light on it, bro. Like there's very, very few wins and there's a lot more losses. So if you have perseverance, you're going to do really well in this sport. The next one is being relentless. Like you have to continuously accept the grind.
Hold on, I thought you
You
said
have to.
three P's. Where's the
I
R
was
in
just
there?
thinking
I
that,
thought
Bro,
you
did I
bro.
said
say
three
P's or
P's.
R's? Persistence. My bad.
I
Persistence. Persistence.
was like, what the
Damn, I should
fuck
have
is he
wrote this
talking
down.
about, bro?
I should have wrote it down. Persistence. Relentless,
I was gonna let it
persistence.
slide, but I was
Same,
really gonna
same.
text you, Jello. I was really gonna text you.
Persistence. Like you gotta be able, dang, now I forgot my third P. Oh no, I got it. Okay. So persistence, you gotta be able to just continue to do the same shit over and over again. And number three, my
Accountability.
third P
Oh, no.
is purpose.
Purpose.
You got to have purpose. Like why? Like what's your reason why? Because I'm telling you, this shit is way too hard for you to just like do it for Instagram. Like you got to have a real purpose to like be
Yeah.
able to go for a 16-week prep or a 32-week prep. You know?
Yeah. Purpose is very, very important. That's
Yeah.
going to be the thing that gets you up out of the bed in the morning, do the morning cardio, or eat the same damn meal every day. Yeah. So know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think for me, like one of the top ones, and it's very, very, it's like low hanging fruit, and it really it's for any division, to be honest. Well, yeah, it's for any division. I think people who help people, who coach people, would appreciate this. Number one for me would be, are you coachable, right? You got to have the ability to be able to be like a sponge and accept the help from people who are giving it to you, especially your coach. If your coach writes out a plan for you, follow the plan. I mean, you're paying the man or the woman to do a job. It's asinine not to follow the instruction you're being given, right? I'm not saying don't question things. I think a lot of coaches appreciate healthy questions, but you also have to make sure that you're coachable, and that's something that I had to learn. Me and Ariel had lots of conversations about me going off plan or doing something that I thought was better for whatever, and that resulting in me realizing that I wasn't being a very coachable athlete. So
Nick. So you were the one who all the stories are about.
that's
You
probably
were writing the story talking about the athlete who don't listen. He talking about you.
yeah, those cryptic messages that Ariel puts on Instagram when he be talking
Yeah.
about, hey, if y'all don't want to listen to what I'm trying to say, he was talking about me.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Thank God, because me and Angelo were convinced it was me.
Yeah. So every time I see those messages, I'm like, come on, man, just text me, hit me up, dog. But yeah, coachable. You got to be coachable. So that's number one for me.
Then what's number one for you? You're a coach.
Man, I was gonna say, something along the lines of like basically what both Nick and Jack said of being one prepared and then being coachable. Because I think like as an athlete, I think if you're being prepared, like you're doing your homework, you're hiring the right coach, you're following the coach, you're setting yourself up to, you know, follow the plan and execute. The biggest thing really with bodybuilding, especially like for me, like I was prepping and I was traveling like every weekend. And everyone's like, man, that's crazy that you're prepping, da da da. And it's not that crazy as long as you're prepared. If you're not prepared though, like if you don't have those meals packed, if you don't have your gym like kind of planned out, if you don't have like the outline of how your day is going to be structured, it gets hectic. Then that's when you fall off. That's when you try and find some quick food. That's when you don't hit the gym, don't do your cardio. That's when those things add up. And just being prepared and like being like kind of in that mindset of like, all right, like my coach said I got to do this, I got to go make it happen.
I agree with
So
that.
I'm gonna put one in there that is it's a little sideways, but it's the realest thing that you can have to be as an athlete, financially stable. All right. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but it's the realest thing when it comes to this sport because this is the furthest sport away from cheap, right? Because when you look at this sport, people don't realize how much you put in. I remember one season, the season of it was 2021. I spent $13,000 competing, right? Between coaching, between traveling,
Yeah. Yeah.
drugs, all that kind of stuff. I added up at the end of the year just because one time, which I never wish I would have never done. But I spent $13,000 that year, I mean, obviously, travel was a little more expensive because I wasn't traveling alone. I was traveling with a spouse, but still, most people don't travel alone when they're competing. So that is something that people don't really think about. And when all of a sudden your coach sends you a list that you need 5 or 6 different drugs, and each drug is running you XYZ, and you need that for 20 weeks, well, that stuff adds up. That all of a sudden now you $2,000 in just, and you haven't even started prep, right? And then you got your coaching fees, then you got your posing coach fees, then you got your travel fees, then you got, oh, now it's time for the show. I got to pay for, oh, well, my coach wants me in 4 classes. Damn, okay, I got to do 4 classes. That's 125. Well, if it's at national level, that's $300, $325 a class. Then you got tanning. So it just adds up. So being financially stable, I say, is very crucial because a lot of people think like it's a hobby and I can do it very cheaply. But if you want to do it at a high level, you're going to spend some money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people like I still surprise people at how much I eat a day. I'm like, one day I took a step back and I looked, I was like, damn, I eat a lot, man. I eat like, man, at one point I was eating five whole eggs a day. I was going through a carton of eggs in 2.5 days.
Mhm.
Like, damn, dog, I eat a lot of food, and GH is expensive.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're spending a grip. So, yeah,
Yep.
you got to be financially, you got to be ready for the financial commitment, and make sure you're financially stable before you step into this, especially ladies. Those they're suits.
Dude, the suit, man. Like, man, like I used to date my ex was she did wellness, and I remember being like, every season you want to spend $1,100 on a suit. Wear the same one. No girl wants to wear the same one twice. Like, what the hell?
Nope. I'm like, you
Bro,
spend that much
that's
on a
that's
suit?
that's it comes back down to like purpose. Like
Yeah.
people preach discipline. You got to have discipline. Discipline will get you through. Bro, you're not going to have discipline if you don't have your reason why. And if your reason why is not strong enough, then none of you can have all the discipline in the world. Like honestly, you have to have the purpose to see shit through. You know what I'm saying? That like you're willing to be able to spend the money. You're willing to be able to prep your food. You're willing to say no to free food at the office or whatever the case is, you know?
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, and that I mean, like that plays into like another one of mine, right? The perseverance, the persistence, the purpose. It's just work ethic. Do you have the overall general work ethic to continue and to do this right, to do it properly, right? Like you're being told and like you should be doing. So um yeah, those are all really, 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 really good points. My third one was posing. You got to know how to pose. Um,
Yeah.
and then I think
Also, I think we're not saying the most one of the most obvious uh answers is shows are men's physique shows are one from the back.
But is
I
that
feel
true
like
today? Is that true today?
everybody has washboard abs. Like everybody has abs, bro. Everybody looks good from the front.
I get that, but
What really separates everybody is the back to me.
I agree. Well, I don't know if I agree.
yeah, I
I
mean,
did at one time believe that that was 100% true. But I do see a lot of times guys have better backs, but better fronts are sometimes winning. I don't
I
know.
think in order to be successful in men's physique, the three body parts are back, chest, and shoulders. You got to have those. Not so much the arms, the biceps, triceps, but those are the three things you got to have. And if you have nice blocky abs, you can see your serratus.
I
You're
think serratus is rated higher than abs.
yeah, it's a
And
sign of
maybe
Yeah, I wouldn't say
that would
that because look at
look at
the
Dylan.
Olympia. Look at
Look at
I was
Dylan.
gonna say that, but look at the Olympia. Ollie Ball's got the sickest serratus in the league by far,
yeah.
and like Ryan Terry still edged him out, and like he still has six serratus, but like Ollie is way more conditioned in that regard. But Ryan has a bigger back though. Going back to Jack's point.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I mean, look at that Dylan Lynn kid that we were talking about earlier. He has zero front abs, but he has good serratus, and he never won a show. Never even only been in the first call out once, I think. Right? But let me ask you guys, like talking on that back win shows, do y'all still believe that that's the case? Because let's be real, Aaron Banks had the best back on the stage at Olympia.
I wouldn't say that.
You don't think Aaron's back is the best back on stage?
I think he was the third best back.
Tyler Manning even said he had the best back on stage that day.
I would say Ryan, and then I would say Emmanuel Hunter is a better back than Aaron.
Oh, I don't know. That I think that's I I don't know.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I think Ryan edged Aaron out because his overall balance was better than Aaron, right?
No, I agree, but that's what I'm asking. Okay, okay, well, let's put it in perspective of what you just said, David. You said Emmanuel Hunter's back is better than Aaron Banks. Emmanuel Hunter finished below Aaron Banks.
I think Aaron's front was better.
Okay, so that's my point that I'm trying to get to, right? So is
I
it
think I think Emmanuel going into kind of I mean it's not really disproving y'all's point one way or another because I mean Emmanuel had a better back than Aaron, but Aaron had more pop from the front. I think Emmanuel gets faded at the core a little bit more easier than some of those guys in the top.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, like I think that's a case of the back winning the show for Aaron over Emmanuel. But I think even if Emmanuel like his core was popping, I'm not sure
Hmm.
compared to Aaron because I think Aaron is pretty balanced.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, because okay, here's a better one that we can break down that I think kind of trumps that. Okay, look at Dubai Pro. That Carlos dude had to
Mm,
sit back on stage next to Aaron,
mm.
and MJ had a terrible back. Not
I would
compared.
say
No,
terrible.
I'm saying in comparison to Carlos versus and Carlos and Ebanks, like MJ's back didn't even stand a chance with those guys. MJ plays higher than Carlos, right? Because MJ's front was just crazy, and he had overall conditioning and overall balance,
But they
right? Like I think
also
his
thought
balance.
MJ, Carlos is a little too big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he had an overall better balance than Carlos.
Yeah.
You know, Carlos streamlined himself down, and he beat MJ at the Olympia because he
What did
finished.
he get at the Olympic? He got like eight,
I think,
six.
I think like eighth at Olympia.
I
So
know he's
he,
in the first call out.
yeah, he streamlined himself down some. I think he finished right behind. So I think Corey was six, then Vitor was seven, and Carlos was eight. I don't know, but yeah, I think it goes. I think it go either way. But I don't think it's as prominent as it once was. At one point, it was the back won the show.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it's a mix of a few different things. It's one of the top dogs though. Um,
Oh yeah, if you don't got no back, you can't compete.
yeah. Okay. That's what's up. My last two, they kind of play hand in hand, structure and genetics, right? Um, your structure is going to be dependent upon your genetics. And certain people have certain types of genetics for certain types of classes. Like I could never be an open guy. It doesn't matter. Like if I turned back the hands of time and started lifting at 10 years old, I don't think I'd ever really be an open guy. It's just genetically, I don't think I'm put together that way. Um, and you got to have, the right kind of structure. Like we're talking about balance right now from front to back, back to front. So you have to have the correct kind of structure to be successful in men's physique. So that meaning, um, good set of shoulders on you, nice full chest, and a nice full back, wide and I guess detailed. So
So let
um,
me ask you guys this a question, because you get this a lot. So you bring up structure. What's more important in men's physique today, structure or conditioning?
I always say conditioning kills. I think if you're conditioned, if you have that paper thin skin, I feel like that trumps a lot. I mean, obviously you can't be like puny, like you have to have muscle, you have to have some type of density, but if you're like 2%, 1.5% body fat, you're going to be in the top 5 no matter what.
Yeah, but there's a difference in top five and winning. So I'm gonna say this, right? Like I think structure trumps
structure,
all.
yeah,
I think
structure.
structure trumps all because I've seen guys who are structurally like perfect, like great, and their conditioning is off a tad, and they win, right? Because I think that structure trumps all. And you know, damn it, what's the guy's name? David, you and I were talking about him. He won Class H at Orlando like 3 years ago. Freaking huge ass shoulders. Solomon.
Yeah,
Like his conditioning wasn't great.
never.
Oh,
He's
the tall
never
guy,
been.
the super
Yeah,
tall guy.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Conditioning's
yeah,
never been great, but
yeah,
his structure is amazing. Like his shoulders could barely fit through a door.
yeah, yeah. That dude is wide. He's a wide load, 18
Yeah.
wheeler.
That's what I'm saying. So like I really think that structure trumps conditioning. Now when you're talking about Olympia level, like you got to have all of it together to win, right? But if you're talking about a general like mid-level pro amateur trying to become pro, I think structure trumps all.
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak from my personal experience. I I never miss on conditioning. I'll toot my horn a little bit. I know how to get stage lean, right? But I've been at shows where I've been backstage and I've seen guys who look 6 weeks out. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to smoke this fool. And nope, this those guys placed at least 10 spots ahead of me. It's because they were bigger, they had the bigger structure. They weren't really conditioned at all, you know. It looked, I'm literally sitting backstage looking at them saying, you should probably stop popping all those Sour Patch Kids in your mouth because you're
Mhm.
pretty full. Your glycogen stores are pretty full right there, bud. Like, chill out. So I do definitely think structure trumps all. So that's my personal experience.
David, aka, coach of the year almost on the amateur level right now with, 150 class wins. What do you got to say?
I would definitely say structure over conditioning, and because in the criteria, like if you talk to judges, what they look for too is like your potential, right? So, I think especially at like a regional level, like being conditioned, especially like even nowadays where the regional levels are getting more competitive, I think most people are coming in pretty shredded, but not many people can project to be like a pro level athlete. And then I think even at a pro level, same thing. Like there's some guys that get pro cards off conditioning. I think I probably got a pro card off conditioning relative to my group. And there's guys that just will always have better structure, and those guys will not have to diet as hard, not have to train as hard. They maybe recover a little bit easier, and then they can hop in a show and they can kind of run a gauntlet a little bit easier just because they don't have to suffer and dig and they can run a longer prep or something like that, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think we got coachable work ethic. That's, perseverance, persistence, purpose. Posing is definitely one of them. Structure and genetics. Angela, what was the other ones you said? You said financially stable.
Potentially
Yeah, that's a
stable.
big one.
Yeah,
And then Jack said having a why.
having why. Yeah. So what's the purpose? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think what? So the why is definitely in there. I think financially stable is in there for number two. Posing number three. Um, we can lump structure and genetics together because those are basically the same thing. Structure genetics as number four, and then what's number five to round it out?
Coachable, right? Didn't you say that? Did you say that?
Coachable?
Yeah, I think you got to be coachable,
Yeah.
right? Like you got to be because otherwise, so many people just veer off the plan because they feel like they know more than the coach might know. It's like, so why are you paying the coach?
Yeah. I used to I used to do this crazy stuff. Like when I would when I was in prep with Ariel, like sometimes my meals get behind, like, it'd be like 10 o'clock. And I still got like two meals to go. I'm like, damn, I'm tired. I want to go sleep. So sometimes I would take both those meals and just put them together. And I fucked up and told him, I told him that one time. He's like, he got so mad. He was like, bro, why do you think I split these meals up the way I do? There's a purpose behind everything. Oh, so you're not coachable. You ain't coachable, huh? I'm like, okay, calm down, bro. It's gonna be all right. I
Dude,
won't
I
mess up again. I won't do it again. I promise. I will stay up until midnight and make sure I get all these meals in, bro. He's like, all right, man, just come on. So,
Hey man, there's some things you got to take to the grave with Ariel, bro, and that's one of those things.
yeah,
bro,
You don't
I
ever
I
tell him
almost
that shit. Come on, dog.
I almost dropped a guy because he like gave me pushback on like something like that. because he would wake up and like he was making weight, like we had to make weight for classic, and he was close, right? Like, and I was like, yeah, man, like what's your or no? He sent me post workout check-ins. It's like 6 p.m. and I was like, all right, dope. It's after like 4 meals or five. He goes, two. I go, the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, after 2 meals. And I was like, why are you eating so late? I was like, you were up at like 6 a.m. He's like, oh, I just got busy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna, I just stay up late and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, don't you get up at like 6 a.m. every day? He's like, yeah, well, And I was like, what time do you get your last meal in? He's like, yo, sometimes like one or two. And I was like, you need to have your meals in by 10. He goes, why? I was like, what do you mean why? I was like, you have about like 4 pounds of undigested food in your stomach when you're lying horizontally for um like your 5 hours of sleep or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm still getting meals in. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does matter. So I mean, that goes full circle. You got to be coachable, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Don't make those mistakes. Um, okay, that's cool, man. That's good. So we got our five. We talked about what the Atlantic Coast, and Sean Ray Hawaiian Classic. We're keeping score. Angela wants to keep score on them. So
Yeah.
I know who I picked. So we're gonna check back. When is that show? That's this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Saturday.
Okay. Are you going to that, David?
I'll be there, but I have a bikini athlete, so I'll be there on Sunday. They compete Sunday, so I'll miss the guys.
Okay.
What? You going all over to Florida? You're not gonna watch the guys, bro?
I'm flying, man. I'm flying in Saturday. I get there at like 2, so I mean, maybe if I slide in real
Catch
quick, I
the
can catch
final.
finals or something. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
finals.
There
But
you go.
for prejudging, I'll probably miss it.
Yeah, for sure you'll miss prejudging, but you got to get that. You got to get in the final, so then that way you give us the real deal on why somebody lost, bro. You get that
I'll
first.
see if I can. I'll see if I can sneak in, but um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the day's running, and if the athlete needs me too much.
Yeah, for sure. I got you.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, gentlemen, I think that was a good one. I don't want to keep you guys too long. We'll round up on the next one. Try and do these like maybe weekly if that's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
if
true.
if not,
Yeah,
just
that's
let me
good.
know. I think the next one we're gonna get a little bit more juicy. I'll talk about a little bit something more R-rated. I'm gonna think about it. I'll throw it at you. If you guys have any suggestions, throw them at me, and we'll do a roundtable and decide which one we want to do. Um,
Bet.
but yeah, I think this one was good, and we'll catch you guys next week.
All right, man. Y'all have a
Good
good night.
guys.
All
Lift
right.
a lot of weight, except for Nick. Get your ass in the training and don't train. Be resting. No injuries.
Facts.
No, you see how skinny I am right now. These arms are noodles. It's ridiculous.
All right, y'all. Catch y'all
All right.
later.
All
Peace.
right.
Peace.